Hello there, folks, and welcome back to another War in the East 2 Let's Play. This is actually a continuation on a previous live stream we did. We got pretty far. I think it was like a 3-hour live stream. Probably not going to be matching that particular number this time. Nonetheless, we are going to continue the offensive. A lot of interesting little things here that we could absolutely, sort of go for in terms of our approach. But we're just going to give like a basic rundown of kind of what's going on. So you can kind of see what's going on in the north, but I think the most interesting part is here in the center, where we actually have a chance to cut off a number of Soviet armies. In fact, we kind of have already, and pretty much wrap this up, take a number of prisoners, hopefully, and kind of go from there. So let's just begin the advance with the infantry right now. In fact, we are pushing forward with, is it Halder's group? Actually, I don't believe it is Halder's group. Sorry, let me get rid of turn summary here. It is going to be Ludwig's group. So with Ludwig's group, I'm actually going to start heading down the rail line in an effort to cut off this army completely. We've got quite a few additional troops here that didn't get much work in last turn, so I'm thinking this turn they might actually be able to do something. And as you can see, already grabbing depots, already off to a nice start. Again, I'm just trying to close off that group completely with the mountain divisions here. And we can even take some security divisions as sort of roadblocks, as it were. So right now, we'll immediately go for an attack right there. I won't use the security division for the attack itself, but I'll definitely use the light divisions. For the most part, though, we just want to wait with these guys. Actually, before we do that, I want to make sure we have even enough movement points to make a movement here. Yeah, we do over here in the north. Let's focus on the northern push first, because we also have this gap here. Being an armored front, I'm a little more concerned about it. Hey, how you doing, Alan? Good to see you, buddy. And typically, I don't like engaging in situations like this, but this is a chance to take Tarnopol pretty quickly. So we're going right in with the tank division, motorized corps, I should say. Tarnopol actually, I don't even think they can evacuate in time in that situation. And we're going to still keep cutting them off, but I don't want to get our guys trapped behind the lines like we've gotten this armor trapped. So I'm actually going to fall back with him. So we need to know our limits. And right now, our limits are pretty much right here, at least for this front. Once again, a lot of these AA battalions just surrendering right off the bat. How you doing, Sebastian? Good to see you, buddy. Again, just going for that encirclement with the infantry, really. Eventually, we will obviously get in with tanks, but I don't want to, expel too much of that tank's energy, or that tank group's energy. As you can see, 7,612 Soviets being routed right there. These are the kind of results we need. Once again, for anybody wondering, this is actually like sort of the second part of a previous live stream we did. Absolutely wonderful, just routing these mountain divisions like it was nothing. And once again, we'll strike at the motorized division 2. What we really should do, though, with this larger group down here is surround them completely. That way there is no escape, and of course they become our prisoners. Push forward here with these infantry units. Once we actually, do all our moves for the turn, that's when we'll start moving forward with generals. Make sure that everybody is in supply for the next turn. And typically early on in the war, I mean, supply is not really much of an issue. It's later that becomes a real burden. So let's actually put this guy here. Gonna move the LAH, Liebstandarte. I'm definitely not gonna say that on YouTube, but you could probably guess what AH stands for in this context. And I'd like to go ahead and just show you guys how a complete cutoff works. The problem is we're kind of wasting movement points here that we could use to attack tanks with. So we're going to go ahead, try to wipe out that armored division. I think we can. Pretty easily got that division routed. 7 tanks lost on their side. And we can still close in here for the good old-fashioned attack. And there we go, routed. These will turn into surrenders, though. There's no way these guys get away. Maybe they managed to get away over here, although that's a little strange. We had cut them off at every single turn. Maybe it needs to be just with infantry divisions. Want to get that tank as well, but not without infantry support. Again, these are the guys we want to expend right now. The infantry can take a beating. Our tanks and our armored columns, not necessarily. Really want to try to save them for the very last fight. And obviously for cutting off the enemy. So we'll just call this the Turnipole line. I think that's an appropriate name. Still try to cut off the rest of this armor here at the Turnipole line, but we don't want any Soviets behind us, especially not armored divisions like this one. So here we go, just doing everything I can, even if we have to take some guys away from the main group temporarily, in an effort to stop these guys from doing anything behind the line. Here we go. So close. Oh, yeah. This is going to be a massive, massive rout on the enemy side, or probably a surrender. We'll actually attack from both sides over here. Shattered one of the units, over 9,000 men. And we will be taking a look at the casualties list as well. But right now, I'm just going to continue that push. And why not? We'll push forward with the mechanized unit, although I'm going to use the infantry to make the attack happen. Oh, actually, they're putting up an okay defense here. They know it's sort of their last stand, so I can't say I blame them. Haven't played a board game in at least 30 years, says Alan Adams. Panzer Attack, I've never seen that one. It's that bad, one cannot mention historical figure. Oh, dude, so I'm not going to say... I can't even give you the acronym because it got me in trouble, but Ola Agrippa here got a warning from YouTube for promoting terrorism because we had a video on a certain Irish independence organization. It was just a video for that interwar mod. You guys know what I'm talking about? And I uploaded it and I got a warning. And it was like, you know, this title is promoting terrorism. I don't understand. So I'm just being very, very careful with YouTube. We don't ever have these kind of problems with Twitch, by the way. Not in terms of, you know, controversial words. Just saying. Something to keep in mind. Now, I want to be careful on this front right here. I'm going to just kind of zoom out so you guys can see it. It's the Pripyat, south of the Pripyat swamps, basically. But it's tricky because it looks open. It looks like we can just rush through and take these depots. But you guys want to see, I bet that they have guys hiding in these woods. Yep, you see? Look at that. They're going to be hiding across the river here for sure. So we need to find a way across, but preferably with some infantry. And obviously moving through these marshes is never easy. Want to make sure to keep the HQs pretty close. But it's hard in these areas, as you can see. Just getting the supplies out isn't easy either. There we go. A little better. Yes, indeed. How you doing, Texas? Good to see you, buddy. And again, for those of you wondering, this is actually a continuation of a previous stream. So, you know, we had, what's it called? We had done, like, I think a 2 or 3 hour stream on War in the East 2. I put the link there in the description. So we were trying to kind of continue it and just go nuts. But I've got to be careful not to extend the line across the Pripyat swamps here. It'd be kind of a mistake. I think I want to leave this area of Stoin to Kinoch completely open. It's just, there's no point, really. But I will attack this HQ. You bet I'll attack the HQ. Potapov, we took Rocketno Depot, and of course sent Potapov running. We could probably continue that attack, but I don't think we're going to get very far. Enemy paratrooper battalion right there, I'm hitting them. That is new for sure. Yeah, definitely. They actually managed to kill quite a few of our men. Not something I want to deal with anymore. Okay, let's push. And I'll keep it north of the river here. Anybody, it's the Bug Canal, so we're going to keep this north of the Bug. Just start pushing. You know, one of the things that really works in favor of the Soviets, in my experience, obviously the marshland, but all of these rivers, because they can be right on the other side there and put up a pretty resilient defense, no matter what we've got. So don't think we're in too much trouble over here. In fact, I'm going to zoom out just to show you guys like how massive this game is. How you doing, Nikki? Good to see you. Just to show you how massive this game is and like how much more we have left to do. So keep in mind that last stream we did for this exact campaign was 3 hours long. I want to show you guys where Stalingrad is, okay? And there we go. So we'd have to go all the way across Voronezh, Orel, Kursk, Kharkov, Kiev, and this is where we are right now. This is turn 3. So obviously we can make it, but situations like this, we're kind of overextending ourselves quite a bit. I want to be careful. I don't want to send too many guys to the north because we're doing pretty well there. But if we could meet the Romanians by some miracle in the south, or even just meet Army Group South, that would be pretty great. So I'm just going to kind of start cutting these areas off, and definitely some paratrooper units left by the Soviets since last turn, without a doubt. We could try to get to Domanici, Zlobin, kind of cut off the rest of these rail areas. But really, we have to get to Gomel, I think, to really do any damage. I'm going to try. Yeah, they're ready. They're definitely waiting for us. I'm still going to attack that HQ. I told you guys, when it comes to attacking HQs, I'm pretty reckless. We actually did capture the Zlobian airbase, but I'm not sure I want to hold this area with armor. Let's see how that HQ would do. We'd have to bring this guy forward as well. Let's bring him, like, over here. I mean, we can do it, but we're definitely going to have to bring this army along with him. And obviously, we're going to be cut off from the larger part of our army, but maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth it. I'm also just going to go ahead and move these other HQs as well. Good old Strauss Adolf. He's done a really great job in this campaign, by the way. Bobsters. How you doing, buddy? It is a long ways. You can start to see, like, how they came under so much stress. I mean, right now, we are riding high. We're doing really well. But, you know, you see what the Soviets did. Was last turn, the Soviets were, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse pointer. I hope you can. But basically, they were west of Minsk, and we completely steamrolled them. Look at where they've gone. Like, you would think they would have set up, like, right here. No. They went all the way over here. So this is, like, their new line, which means that for us to get there with our infantry, that's going to take at least, like, 2 turns at a minimum. Yeah, look at that. And while we're moving, you know, we have to bring supplies over. We've got to keep these guys fed. We've got to bring ammunition. And through just this distance, it's tough. In fact, I believe, could be wrong on this, I believe those red arrows indicate, like, rail depots and stuff. But these are ones that we can't use, if I'm not mistaken. I think the ones that are, like, black and white, we can use. In other words, there's supply running through these. They've been changed over to German rail. That's another thing, is, of course, this needs to be changed over to the proper rail system. Clearly, territorial gain lacks meaning in the USSR. It's all about destroying enemy formations. Hell yeah. We're trying to sort of cut off those formations and capture them. We've got that going on. Let me find it. Right over here. This is where we have to be really careful, because we have a chance here to trap all of these Soviets. But we've got a lot of Romanians in the south that are going to bring up the southern attack here. And I'm not so sure how that's going to go. But if I could just trap, like, a good portion of them, I think we're going to be going pretty well. There we go. We can actually take Delhi. It's not that Delhi. Here we go. And a few Hungarians here as well, as you can see. We got the Slovakian Corps to support us, and I'm just going to use them to kind of push this group into this gap here that we've got. We'll also completely close this gap. I'll take this infantry unit, for instance, and just kind of move back a bit. Try to take some additional areas here just to keep cutting off those rail areas. Oh, that's right. Let's wipe out this tank unit. Or units. Might have to take a few attacks. Again, they know that this is the final fight. They're not getting out of this one. We'll even bring in the Liebstandarte, you know what. Although I think we have to wait till next turn to attack. Our guys are pretty tired. Yeah, movement points are shot. You can move about one more turn. That's okay. Just give one more turn for that guy to essentially bleed supplies. Works out for us, and we'll keep on trying to cut these guys off right here. Let's hit him from the north. Just do a aggressive attack. Man, when the Soviets know they're about to be overrun, they do get a little more ferocious. I will say that. I guess that's just natural in battle. If, like, either one of two things, right? It's like that old fight or flight response. You're either going to just run like crazy in terror, or you're going to just fight like a mad dog. And that's what they're doing in these little gaps. So I am closing in, really just trying to close the gap completely. In fact, I'll hit that security division. I know that that thing is not going to withstand an attack. And they've got some Marines right here. Love to capture those Marines. So Soviet Marines, they do have a reputation. Let's see. I'll settle for just a good old-fashioned attack here against the 1st Naval Infantry Brigade, and good on the Romanian cavalry there. 337 of the enemy killed. We're going to rush in even more to cut them off additionally. And maybe even Russian. Look at that, man. That's crazy. Yeah, they're completely cut off at this point. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's exactly. It's the Liebstandarte Agrippa. Oh, wait. We got to be careful still. Yeah, exactly. It's that thing. It's the guy with the mustache. No, not Charlie Chaplin. Not him. But actually, in this stage of the war, I believe the SS only really becomes an elite organization in 43-44. Again, it's been a while since I've read Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, but I do remember a lot of passages mentioning that, you know, pretty much kind of police units at this point, not exactly very effective. In this game, however, they are very good mechanized troops, although they understandably do pretty poorly on defense. So, like, the idea with them, they're kind of like shock troops. You just move in with them, you hit the enemy as hard as you can, or take villages, especially things like that, and then you move out and get some supplies, do the same thing all over again. Now, see, this Soviet line over here is pretty strong. We've got a lot of tanks here that have not yet pushed through. Again, I don't want to commit to too many attacks with those tanks if we can help it. So while we can, let's just keep pushing with the infantry here. Burt Reynolds. Oh, man, speaking of, that reminds me, that gives me nostalgia of good old Norm Macdonald, man. Rest in peace. Definitely in my list of top 3 favorite comedians, I would say. Here we go. We've got to push with the tanks. Not typically something I like to do early on here, but look at that, guys. 7,200 enemies routed. And again, trying to break through this line right here. The closest city here that matters to us is going to be Kiev. So it's sort of northeast a bit. There is so much to do. And again, this is just a single turn, man. Ooh, I made it done a little boo-boo there. I'm really lucky that the 44th Infantry Division can get in that gap, because I pushed that tank way too far. Love to get some support there, though, so that he could carry out an attack against that HQ. Yeah, just a legend, man. I mean, he truly was a comedian's comedian in the sense that I don't think there was a moment ever when Norm Macdonald was being serious. Like, he was always kidding. And that was great. Look at that supply situation. You see, as we get closer, like, we'll be okay. But as we get closer, things get a little more complicated. And we definitely want to keep Kempfwerner close to his tank corps. And unfortunately, they're kind of separated. We got a mechanized corps here. What we're going to do is try to chase. We can't really give chase yet. I wanted to chase that retreating unit. We can chase with this unit. Yeah, let's go ahead. Carry out an attack against their tanks. Beautiful. And also took the 110th Rifle Division's depot there at Trembolyaya. Trembolyaya. It's a funny name. Yeah, exactly, Nikki. It's a funny name. That's what's good about Turd Ferguson. Here we go. Full attack. We had to do it. And look at that. Oh, please let me pause in time. Look at that. So we did lose 52 tanks on this attack. This was a big no-no. Don't do this. Don't ever do this. I knew better. There are other ways to get through this line, but this is a good example of the kind of attack we don't want to carry out. It looks pretty good on paper. I mean, taking out 152 enemy tanks, losing 52 of our own, 5,000 enemies killed, 43 of their planes knocked out. But seriously, don't do this, because we need these tanks for something else. Nonetheless, in this situation, I'm trying to create a bit of an opening, so I'm taking some risks for sure. Now, my favorite one is his joke about, oh god, what is it? The Professor of Logic? He's got so many good ones, but the Professor of Logic is a really good one. Okay, speaking of the SS divisions, here we go. Chance to actually cut off quite a few of the Soviets, although we're putting ourselves in a tough spot because we can't actually get to the Novgorod-Volinsky area this turn. I think we're going to have to actually wait until next turn. Again, another mechanized attack. They held, but still took pretty severe damage. Can you use your air power? Absolutely. So, basically what happens, there's air power, and there's also this right here, AI depot management. And as you can see, I am going to allow the AI to manage our depots. I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to do it sort of at the end of this turn. But you can also allow the AI to manage your air attacks. That's what I'm doing, because if you do the air attacks too, I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with War in the West, a War in the Pacific, but this game basically becomes that. So if you like that level of extreme micromanagement, by all means go for it. For me, it's just a little too much. I kind of prefer to focus on the infantry and the supply situation on the ground, all that fun stuff, and leave the air to the, the Luftwaffe boys. Do what they do best. We're going to keep on pushing against that HQ. Rogashev Depot is captured. So this is definitely risky, but I'm going to go ahead, push through in this area. 11,000 routed, man. Kuznetsov. That was Kuznetsov's division. Yeah, we are getting pretty deep in enemy lines, and this particular hit on the rails is going to hurt them. Because, again, we've cut off most of the rail lines coming through any of these areas. But they're still getting support from the north here. That'll cut that off. But they have plenty of support coming from over here. Dneprovetsk and Zaporozhye. Britannia rules the waves. How you doing, Anthony? Good to see you, buddy. The channel member. And look at that epic emblem he gets. We've got to get more emblems. The frustrating thing is that YouTube doesn't give us emblems for, like, the kind of membership you joined for. Because we have, like, 3 different membership types. It gives you emblems for how long you've been a member. Which I think is, that's cool, too, I guess. I always like to have a reason to complain about YouTube. Bringing up all of these guys from Brest-Litovsk. But again, we've got to watch that swamp there, the Dnieper swamp, and really just stay either north or support over here. I think... Yeah, I'm going to go down to Kiversky and kind of support this attack over here. This is where we're having most of the difficulties. Just wait until you guys see the casualties list. We haven't even taken a look at that yet. But it's pretty amazing. It really is. And look at that. For once, the Slovakians are quite helpful. They're going to be instrumental, guys, in us cutting off this Soviet group here. If the Slovakians let us down, I'm never going to forgive them. Never. We'll actually take their motorized corps right now and hit that infantry unit. Might as well. Boom. Let's go for it. Okay, Slovakians not the best fighters. Again, probably a question of technology. They're actually holding out pretty well here. It's pretty much just a mountainous, woody region, as you can see. Not exactly the best place to be carrying out an attack, but a pretty good place to defend from. Yeah, we got to get much closer. This is actually one of our main HQs. This is Army Group South, under Rundstedt-Gert. Actually, we could get even closer, although I don't like to get him so close to the front. But it'll have to do. He's also controlling those rail units, although we are also kind of micromanaging those. Or I should say, automating those. Oh, how are you guys doing, man? We got some viewers. Thanks so much for stopping by, folks. My phone lies to me, because when I look at the phone, it says 4 viewers. When I look at the PC, it says 14. So, yeah, it's just, the phone is a dirty liar. There we go. There we go. Getting a little bit better. Want to make sure to keep our Lvov force fully supplied. I'm not going to move him much. This guy's out of supply. I really don't want to move him much. Yeah, like something like that is sufficient. And let's move our security troop, Von Kahl. He can sort of take care of partisans behind the line, although over time that becomes a little more difficult to manage. And look at this. Like, man, I have to say, our Romanians not doing too poorly. Not at all. We're taking all this extra territory. I don't know if this is because they fought well last turn, or if it's because the Soviets were just like, listen, we can get those Romanians later, just retreat to the main line, and let's hold the Germans off. That's probably what it is. But just let me bask in my glory for a little bit here. Hey, how you doing, Cobra? See you, man. Taking Odessa would be huge. Of course, Odessa is known for having quite a bit of oil, and we need those oil fields. So I want to make sure that these Romanians get whatever support we can offer them, which unfortunately isn't much. We obviously have Army Group South, like over here, the purple, and I think we're just going to have to really dedicate these guys to attacking east. Actually, no, sorry, these are Romanians too. Army Group South is here. Yeah, right over here, the sort of greenish. So we have a chance here to actually take our Romanians. This is not something I typically do, and assist AGS quite a lot. Just maybe attack southeast and hope that these Soviets don't get in our way. I'm almost certain they will, but we'll do our best. So here we go. Just kind of, I'm almost trying to form like a southern front right here, if you guys can see. Right where I put that unit. So I'm just going to start setting up that front. We'll also go ahead and carry out some attacks here in areas where we do outnumber the enemy. 2,707 on the run. Gotta love that sort of result. Got a nice little fortification here at Belzi. Yeah, that's an easy surrender. Oh, they can go even farther. It's a shame they can't actually attack that security division, but you saw that the Teleshnetchi population has evacuated. We're a bit ahead of schedule with our Romanians. Kishinev depot is captured, and they completely left the city of Kishinev undefended. Next, Tiraspol, and we're getting there. Take back Bessarabia. That's what we're doing right now, my friend. How you doing, Axum? Getting to Odessa very, very quickly. A lot quicker than expected, actually. But I'm guessing that this is all intentional by the Soviets. They're focusing everything on AGS. That's what I think. But I have to say, for most War in the East 2 campaigns, this is the best start I've had with the Romanians, for sure. Not bad. Look at that. Odessa is definitely within reach, and we've got some pretty decent terrain over here. I shouldn't say that because I'm going to jinx myself. This game does have weather, and if rain rolls through, it's like impassable. It really is. It's like, you know, one move would take us like all of our movement points. So I'm hoping that we don't have any rain, of course. You never know, though. A few of these guys are out of supply. Let's try to get a little bit closer without putting these HQs in danger. God knows we can't afford to lose any generals, but particularly we can't afford to lose any Romanian generals. Rumor has it that Moscow follows this episode. Timothy, what's up, buddy? Another one of our awesome channel members. I really do appreciate it when people do that. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, you're clearly got me confused with a different YouTuber. That's definitely the case. Maybe Berlin Falls this episode. That would be more Agrippa Maxentia-esque, let's say. We could definitely push forward a little bit more here. And there are some events, so it does have a nice little news system here. British RAF begins conducting bombing raids on Axis cities on July 1941, which stretch until December 1941. These early bombing missions reveal that only 1 in 3 bombers are able to hit their mark within 5 miles of their target. Man, I guess that it's pretty tough to determine where your bomb was dropping in those days. I'm going to make sure that these HQs are just all within range of our men on the front there. And we still want to try to continue this attempted breakthrough. But again, forest is going to be a problem here. I'm stubborn enough to try again with the tank. But again, don't do this, guys. Don't do this. If you see all those little lines drawing out from a particular point, that is like air support. I think it's also logistical support, etc. But I'm using a tank in a way we should not use it. We're basically using it as a battering ram to punch our way through. In this case, I think it might be worth it. But again, I wouldn't recommend anyone try this. Because see, now we've created a little bit of a gap for ourselves, but it doesn't look like it's going to be sufficient to do much against the enemy. I'll still try and make a difference here. The problem is we don't really know what we're facing. So we could do a scouting attack here. But I went ahead, took the risk, and we managed to push them back. So they are pretty weak. Nonetheless, you could see that SS Das Reich division behind enemy lines, not in the best shape. Do you know similar games to Strategic Command series? World War II Grand Strategy turn-based? I honestly think the viewers here would probably be a better... give you better advice than I could on that front, because I'm sure there are games out there that are really, really good and similar to Strategic Command that I'm not thinking of. One that I know of, oh gosh, what's that thing called? Strategic Mind. But again, not many people are that happy with the aesthetic, although there's a lot of options in Strategic Mind. Again, guys, don't do the same attack that I'm doing here, but I am trying to exploit the enemy armored line here. We are going for an attack with some SS support. 69 enemy tanks hit, but again, with a loss of 41 on our own side, not worth it. Not worth squeezing that juice at all. What we will do is take this infantry unit, the 293rd Infantry Division. Now, he should have enough movement points to push forward. That's a little weird. All right, we'll push forward with this guy. We have to be pretty aggressive now. Once we commit to an attack like that. I'd love to attack that HQ, but he's got quite a few defenders. Let's see if we can have a look here. Just like a tiny rail yard. Oh yeah, supply's gonna get dicey. That's for sure. All right, here we go. We actually do have an SS unit that can further exploit the gap. This is the idea. Kind of like prying open a can. We're just kind of trying to create that gap. I should have attacked with the tank as well. We got lucky there. Actually managed to get our SS Viking division to push through. Again, I think one mistake this game makes, it makes very few mistakes in terms of realism, but early war, the SS were not this good in terms of, like, fast attacks. They were good at, like, capturing a village and massacring unarmed people. That's about it. You know, late war, I would totally change my tune. But they do have some pretty fast vehicles. You know, they do get some decent vehicles here. So I guess it makes sense. Again, I'm no expert on the Eastern Front, but from what I've read, typically not as good as, like, Hollywood portrays them to be. Let's put it that way. Oh, boy. Maybe. Kind of dicey either way. I think I'm going to go this way so that we have some additional armored support. Do I recommend this game? It really depends. Like, it's a really hard question to answer because it depends, like, what your level of micromanagement is, basically. Like, how much do you like to micromanage certain wars? You know, how much do you like the Eastern Front? It's a great game. Yeah, there's definitely a learning curve, although I would say of all of the War in the East, the Gary Grigsby games, I would say that the War in the East ones are the easiest ones to learn, without a doubt. Because you can automate a lot of the, like, air stuff. See there, that I made a big mistake. I'm backing up, backing up. Thankfully, we can get out of there before these Soviets squash us. But again, you know, you really got to be into this thing. And we just send that tank right through. Look at that. Easy grab. Maybe we should go for Drisa. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Drisa here because just a bunch of territory here. I do want to completely cut off any potential Soviets here. So we'll do this, and we can pretty much just... Like, Army Group North has no issue. Look at this. Just walk right in. Get into good old Estonia. We got a lot of work here in the north as well. Let's get over here. I think we can take Riga this turn. Maybe even capture the garrison of Riga this turn. And you can see our engineers hard at work changing the rail system over there on the west. Absolutely awesome, man. So again, we'll just grab this territory here. But until we actually get over here to the Dvina, we're not helping at all. This is just typical of the Soviets to fall back and... You know, well, of the Russians in general, it's a great strategy to fall back, force us to continue forward, waste supplies. You know, our men get more and more tired over time. Some guys fall prey to illness, etc. And we are just walking through nothing over here, basically. And I'm guessing next turn, this particular army will be walking through nothing again. Until we get to the Dvina. And at that point, they'll have a pretty decent defensive line set up. Yeah, we got some major gains this turn and last turn. And again, I put the first part of this. If anybody is as much a fan of war games like I am and you want to see part 1 at some point, check it out because we really did quite well on the initial first 2 turns. This is actually, I think, turn either 3 or 4. We're going to have to send these guys north completely. Make sure to keep the HQs within range there. Ooh, I separated these guys really poorly. We're going to bring that guy in the south back up because he needs to stay close to these tanks. There we go. Look at that, man. It's still a lot of stuff. Beshov is going to be... looks like it's going to be a little tougher to take than I expected. I'm actually not going to waste this tank. I'm going to just kind of move him down here to Frostbilds and maybe even assist in taking the southern zones. Although we'll take the Totenkopf SS division and just sort of start smashing enemy depots, cutting off rail lines where we can, and just causing general chaos. Now that's what the SS is good at, just kind of grabbing a bunch of areas at once. You can see some of these rail lines are not going into these swampy areas, obviously. I can move this guy farther north to Vilnius, but I'll actually move him over here to the Minsk Front. Yeah, I think we're going to dedicate 9th Army to the southeast. You have to make a decision when you get to this area here. It's either to head north or head south. No real point to continue forward here, lest we hit the marsh. So maybe we'll just actually start fortifying this position. That's not a bad idea either. Also, don't want to forget all of our Romanians. Make sure we move all of these guys across. Wow! Just a town that still had Soviet population in it. Rishkani. Definitely try to attack that border guard position, but we might have to wait till next turn. All right, HQs are looking okay for the Romanians. Obviously could be better here. See, this is becoming a lot more of a frontline situation here on the Kiev front. So this is another reason why I wanted this sort of outbreak to work for us. Let's get that guy a little farther forward. There we go. Him as well. Yeah, we're definitely going to dedicate this army right here. For sure, we're just going to go ahead and dedicate them to the southern fighting zone here. Glad I looked over here as well, because look at that. Terribly out of supply. Put him in the village of Stolin. We've got Stolin, we've got Stalino, we've got Stalingrad. How many other cities are named, or cities or villages are named after Stalin at this time? I'm sure we'll find more. I'm sure we will. So actually, no, we might be able to just keep heading east over here into Belarusia. Let me just take a look. We'll just stay north of the river. I think as long as we stay north of the river, we'll be fine. However, I am still going to dedicate this army right here. 13th Corps, I'm going to dedicate them to assisting our guys in the south. And again, we are going into the swamp to do that, so I'm not going to use the entire army, just 13th Corps. And 9th Corps, why not? Clearly had a complex. Yeah, he might have had a few confidence issues, you know? It's as Norm Macdonald might say, you know, something along the lines of, like, you know, that's Stalin. Something tells me he wasn't very confident. Not a very confident guy. Let's push it forward right there. Feels a little weird dedicating this army to the southern attack because they're really made for here. But I just think if we break through there that quickly and meet up with the Romanians on the other side, which I actually consider a possibility, we really deal a fatal blow to the Soviets. Had more than one meaning. That's right. Interesting. Getting rid of the names. I never thought of that. At least Alexander was great. You got to give it to Stalin. I mean, he was absolutely awful and ruthless, but in terms of managing to hold on to power, he certainly had no problems with that. See, the march must go on. We got to keep up with this HQ, keep moving the army forward here into Belarus. Just don't want to forget anybody here. It's just so important to not forget a single unit. Obviously, not forget our HQ connections here to make sure that these units are constantly getting supplied. Absolutely essential in this game. Okay, SS Cavalry Brigade. I didn't know this existed. Interesting. Does he have an HQ? He does. It's going to be that HQ right there. So we'll send him east. Going into the swamps. Pretty close anyway. Now, this, of course, is leading to just the engineers mostly. These engineering divisions, but it leads to a lot of different areas. I honestly feel quite bad for Fedor von Bock here. He's got a lot of responsibilities. We're going to move a little farther east with these guys. Minsk Front, continue forward. The Minsk Front is really the, for some reason, it's kind of the quietest front right now. Just not much going on here. In fact, I'm glad I looked here because we still have this tank division. Yeah, there's no point in taking territory that we're just going to end up losing later. So I'm going to fall back with this guy and assist this SS Cavalry. Yeah, I think this is the right call. Usually when I play War in the East 2, or when I play any game really, I go way overboard on aggressivity, especially with armor. I'm thinking here, like, it's better to save our tanks. If there's not a good position for a blitz, then it's better to just save them. Like, that wouldn't actually help us because there are no guys benefiting from those rail yards. Over here, however, might be able to make a little bit of a difference. 20th Motorized Division on the move, and we've got some enemy paratroopers. So yeah, they absolutely know we're here. Certainly waiting for us. I was trying to get to Mikashivshi this turn. I think we're going to have to wait till next turn. And now, being a Gary Grigsby noob, I don't know if this is true, but from what I understand, when I first learned the game, having those HQ on the rail yards is better than having them, like, out in the marsh. Again, don't quote me on that. So I'm just going to keep these guys kind of on the rails, or especially at those supply depots. Security division. Still got so much to do, guys, and it's just one turn. I feel like trying to attack through these weaker areas. Yeah, let's do it. Especially the mechanized corps. But again, shouldn't have done it. And 18 tanks lost, that's not too bad. But the gain there is just really nothing. Infantry attack. They're pretty strong here. I mean, we're still killing 665 and only losing 100, but they are fairly strong in this area. I think I want to take that risk with the tank and try and attack their HQ. It would be so much easier to do that if we just had one more mechanized unit here helping us. Like this guy. No, he can't get in there. What about here? Damn it! Oh, infantry? Nope, they cannot. See the terrain here, guys? This is pretty rough terrain. We can't move hardly at all. Can't even get to that security division. Yeah, I'm going for it. Again, would not recommend anybody try that. They absolutely held against that attack. And they should have. Gotta get this HQ in a much better position. Way too far from his troops. These security divisions can kind of take care of themselves. Just kind of want to bring up the rear of the army and have them look for partisans, basically. I'm not sure if these guys fall under SD or SS units. Because, you know, like, in this game, you've got the SS units very clearly marked, but not sure if security divisions would fall under either or maybe just, you know, be their own sort of unit. If anybody knows, feel free to enlighten us. Because at least for the Soviets, the security divisions are really more like border guard units, not really like official police units. Oh, cheers. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us. SS Polizei Division right there. That may have answered my question. So it might be either SD, definitely not SS, SD, or just internal police divisions. Eating up all this delicious territory. All right, let's get that HQ where it should be. Still slightly out of supply. We can fix that next turn. This is why you got to be careful spreading out your units. You know, obviously, it can sometimes work against you. The Romanians do well if you don't overextend them. Ah, yeah, I mean, I was surprised at how close they are to actually getting over here. Look at this, to Odessa. Look at that. They're quite close. So I'm pretty sure that the Soviets are going to have some defenders here at Tiraspol. It's another bigger city, but it's not worth many points, unfortunately. Use the rail lines, boys. There we go. We're going to get this army here eventually, but obviously getting through the Pripyat swamps is no fun. I'm just thinking that if we change things around a little bit and provide more support to Army Group South, or Army Group Center, rather, that maybe, just maybe, we can break through these areas a lot faster. But the Soviets are putting up quite a defense here. This is maybe the only place they're putting up, like, an official defense. Make sure we moved all of our Romanian units. I'm taking every inch of land I can. This is definitely one of those games where, like, I kind of am afraid to end the turn. It's just one of those situations where, like, if we're not completely certain, we shouldn't do it, because somebody could be out of supply, of course. It's looking okay, though. I think we're fine. See, there we go. Just got to check up on all of these different units. We might actually be able to supply all of these guys, despite Soviets being pretty damn close here. That is fairly rare. That's one very, very brave general, Kunsten Adolf. The Minsk Front, we do have a tank. As long as I see enemy units present, then I will try to cut them off with a blitz. Or at least try to kind of stop potential advances. So let's go to Stanislovo. Oh boy. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. This is one of the problems if we overextend ourselves. Although thankfully we haven't caused that issue too many times. But we are surrounded by Soviets right there. We could try to break our buddy out here. But I think it's much more important for us to help out our Baltic friends than anything else. Take these areas away from the Soviets. Look at that. What is this? Like, I can't not attack. I've never seen an HQ division that looks like that. Volga Air Base captured. Is it possible that was like some sort of air HQ? We just captured it. Whatever it is, I hope it's valuable. Take Schmilten as well. And again, we don't typically want to use tanks in this fashion. But it's working out all right in this area. 1,329 enemies running in terror. This could almost be a place in Portugal. Valmieda. Boom. Let's hope Riga Tank Corps know what they're doing. This might be one area that we're actually well received. But see, we still need to bring up infantry forces to take Riga. I don't want to just keep tanks there, you know, moping around this entire time. So we do need to eventually send some infantry up there, but we might be forced to use tanks to capture it. We might be forced to go back. At least they're completely cut off at this point. So yeah, it's a Luftflotte HQ. So that is definitely an air HQ unit. Hey, pretty nice. And thanks again for showing up, guys. It was between this and Shadow Empire. I might still play some Shadow Empire, but I feel like I'm more familiar with this game than I am Shadow Empire, so I figured, you know, let's play part 2 of this. I had promised I would eventually come back to it on the stream. Although that game looks fun too, man. I've played quite a bit of it. I just don't understand it in many cases. All right, we're looking good? Yeah, I think so. I think we're looking good. I'm just going to do one last double check, guys. Sorry for the over-focus on micromanagement here, but sometimes you just have to be certain. Especially in situations like this. Great success. Hey, what's up, Michael? Great success indeed. In fact, again, we do have the AI doing the air control, but we're going to move the Luftflotte closer. So hopefully force the AI to be a little more direct with their attacks. We're not controlling their attacks, but we can certainly control the location of their air bases. Move them over here to Kovel. And this should get us much closer air support. Lukov. All right, here we go. Almost finished. Almost. I was wondering, like, does this HQ have anybody underneath it? Guess it does. This is one of our main HQs. I'm just going to keep him here in Königsberg. Could bring him a little bit closer, but it's got to be to a proper city, and Vilnius is too far away from other fronts. We could maybe bring him to Brest. Let's do it. We're going to bring our main HQ here to Brest-Litovsk. I'm sure the conditions are not up to the general standards, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta just deal with situations. What can I say? We'll also bring this one a little bit closer, our army group north focus. And let's put him in... Kaunas. It's going to be the closest place we can get right now. And it's also the place that we can reach by rail. I don't want to go to a place that's, like, behind our current rail system, like Voropevo. Am I going to play Combat Mission Shock Force 2 anymore? Oh, definitely, man. For sure. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Combat Mission. For sure. I mean, what I'm kind of doing on the channel now, how I'm determining what you guys want to see is if a channel or if a video gets like 40 likes or more than 500 views, I'll probably follow up pretty soon, you know, on it. We'll get him also to Kaunas. Interesting, Anthony. That might explain it. What they do very well in this game is like take positions quickly, like take locations quickly. They have a lot of movement points. So maybe that would explain like sort of their ferocity. They're not necessarily the best fighters, especially early war, but maybe they're quite quick. You know, they've got a lot of that oomph. You see, we still have to micromanage a bit. Get this guy even closer, of course. Yeah, I'm going to try to further exploit this area. Again, the goal is breakthrough, but they are holding there. They are definitely holding. So let's not chance it anymore on that particular location. All right, we are ending that turn. As much as I worry that we've forgotten some stuff, see already I'm finding a few HQs here that are out of supply. I'm going to end the turn. That one's fine. That one's fine. 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 All right, folks, here we go. Yeah, I think it's probably a good time to go ahead and end it. Oh, yes, thank goodness I didn't forget. We want to automate the depot management. So we're going to allow AI to manage our depots here, and pretty much just setting depots on the front line, putting them in the best locations to provide supplies to our men. And now we shall end that turn. We're definitely going to look at the casualty list, but the best time to look at it is after the Soviet turn here. 109 tons of freight. Just love the details here. But see, these guys are delivering freight to that tank unit that we got behind enemy lines. And just imagine delivering 60 tons of freight and how much fuel it takes to do that. So this is why we don't want to make that mistake of getting guys trapped this far, because it looks like our Air Force is going to try to help them out, and we can't afford it, pretty much. We cannot afford to help them out. You know, we really need this for our front lines. But there we go. That's the kind of air transport freight we need. North of that gap there where we've got the Soviets trapped. Wunderbar. Soviet turn. Let's see what Papa Stalin does this time. We know he's always willing to, well, just do about anything to win, so we'll have to see what he decides to do with that defensive line. Is he going to keep it right there? Is he going to counterattack? I doubt it. I think probably what he'll do is fall back again, believe it or not, except maybe on the Kievan front, because he's doing pretty well there. And I think the woods, the rivers, all of that is going to do a pretty good job at keeping us back and just turning that into almost like a World War I frontline situation, which I'm not looking forward to, obviously. Come on, Papa Stalin. What are you going to do? I always get nervous when the game starts stuttering like this. I did not save this file, and I don't want to lose our progress. What is this, an hour of streaming so far? Really don't want to lose our progress here. Ooh, we get an autosave. Looks like Soviet Air Command here that we're looking at. Let's hope they miss some of their bombs. Man, this game is so fun. It goes by so damn quickly. I mean, I thought we were streaming maybe 20 minutes. We've been streaming 1 hour, which just goes to show you a single turn. I mean, if you're really gonna take the time to micromanage and, you know, really take your time on these turns, can actually take that long. That's pretty amazing. Now, I am always worried with those pauses, but typically if you just give the game some time, as you can see there, it will, of course, correct itself. Got some scout planes, eh? Definitely some scout planes. They are moving isolated units. We'll see very quickly if they're going to attack. Starting Soviet AI, here we go. Reaction attacks. Attrition attacks? Maybe not. They are definitely dropping those paras behind our lines, though, as you can see. That tank front at Babyrusk, we might want to retreat, as there's only one entrance across that river. It's a very easy way for them to cut us off. What I really want to do here is take a look at the casualty count, see what we're working with. Oh, we've got Soviet air transport. So that lets us know that they're not getting perfect supply in that northern area, in the Baltic area. But I think here at Kiev, places like that, they're just delivering supplies because they have such a massive front. So even air freight is necessary. Hey, Rosomakian, how you doing, buddy? Babruisk, Babruisk. Babruisk. This is really just the resource turn. HQ support to units, aviation supply, of course, the train supply, all the good stuff. Getting our guys the Zigaretten and all the letters from home, as well as maybe a few clips of ammunition. Yeah, look at that, guys. We are well into Latvia. Soon, the Baltic states will be liberated completely. See, thank you, Rose. So you're not like Mike. When I try to speak Russian, he's so critical, man. It's like, it has to be perfect. And he'll just be like, it's terrible. It's total shit. Total, worst thing I've ever heard. It's like, man, I think I'm pretty decent pronunciation. He knows what I'm talking about. Here we go. So this is, of course, once again, I'm leaving this to the AI. If you want to micromanage this, that is completely up to you. We're just going to execute air directives right here. So as you can see that, I've got that on AI Air Assist. They're already flying sorties. We can actually see the losses they've got, etc., etc. Again, if you want to micromanage this, more power to you, but I tend to leave this to the AI. Just getting some good old recon photos. Man, imagine a time before drones. In these times, you actually have to fly a plane over enemy territory, risk getting shot at, just to get some good pictures. Right, I believe it is back to our side, guys. We're getting to what I really wanted to get to, which is the casualty count, for goodness sakes. That's what I'm interested in. The casualty count. We will first take a look at the news events here. So the Axis Finnish offensive begins. Very, very nice. Is that German 34th Corps, or 36th rather, attacks Sala sector to cut Murmansk railway. Karelian army launches first major offensive in northern part of Karelian Isthmus. So I believe now we actually get some Finnish units added to our army groups in the north. Let me take a look. Yeah, we can use them if we want. Although I think I turned it off. Yeah, I think I may have turned it off for this particular campaign. I'm not seeing any infantry there. But let's look at casualties. Total losses, guys. Ground losses. So total over here, 47,000 on our side. Looks like 22,000 men killed. On the Soviet side, 658,000 losses here. 154,000 of them killed, 325,000 of them captured, 177,000 men disabled. And I think this is maybe just since last turn, is it? This might even be larger. We've also got a number of destroyed units, as you can see here. Axis losses, we've had 53 pilots KIA. The enemy hasn't actually had nearly as many pilots KIA. Yeah, this is definitely since last turn. How do we look at the entire damn war? My goodness, look at that. Either way, absolutely vicious fighting, as you guys can see. The campaign continues, guys. I'm going to zoom out just a bit so you guys can take a look at the front. And look exactly what I said happened. Pretty much happened. Over here, on the Minsk Front, they fell back completely. So let's zoom in over there. On the Kievan Front, they are strengthening it. Look at that. Look at the Kievan Front. I don't think there's any way we are going to get armor through this area. We're definitely not going to get it west of Overwatch. There is just no way that's getting through. However, we could try to go southeast over here and maybe break through Kiev. So I think this is going to have to be our focus pretty much, is breaking through this area and entrapping that army. This group of enemies is entrapped. We'll at least carry out some attacks against them because I'd love to take some prisoners this turn. But I'm going to use the infantry to do it if I can. We're going to have to use this tank unit. Anything to trap the rest of the Soviets? Security divisions, we'll even use them because they're not really ideal fighting troops. But as you can see, we got 6,000 of them to surrender right there with the security divisions. Take the rest out. Once again, 8,000 surrendering there, and that's tank divisions we're talking about. So we're definitely taking some armor as well. Not that early war Soviet armor is much to write home about. Oh, held out towards the end there. Well done, Ivan. Very nicely done. If they're going to play like that. Damn, there we go, baby. Look at that, guys. We just took 18,000 prisoners. Obviously, there have been much more magnificent attacks during World War II, but that's decent. It's a decent start. And let's just finish these guys off so that we can at least take the prisoners in this area, completely shut down any sort of resistance. They actually held out. There's only 17,000 men there. May sound like a lot, but not too many on the grand scheme of things. Let's see if we can just use this Hungarian motorized brigade to push some of the enemies out of the way here. Nice. Actually, they surrendered. That's the first time I've seen that. They were not surrounded at all. They just surrendered. So, man, bullied to the Hungarians. That was an amazing attack. I just witnessed a destroyer escort killing 2 enemy destroyer and is now ramming a destroyer escort. I love War on the Sea, and I'd love to do some more on it. I probably will, but I'm just waiting for some updates, man. Like, you know, they've got all those additional wars. They've got, like, the Atlantic War, all that stuff that I'd love to try out. Just waiting for that update. Kind of tempted to try to go for Rudnitsa. As you could see here, they did match a Romanian line. We knew that was going to happen, though. We knew the Romanians were not just going to walk in. But here's what I can do, is cause a little havoc with the tanks. Behind the lines, try and get to that HQ. Oknitsa Depot is captured. All right. Not really that big of a accomplishment, but I'll take it. Because what we need to do is find some way to cut off that Kievan front. A number of different approaches. I think we're going to have to just redirect these guys, the blue army over here, to just move right through the Dnieper swamps, the David Gorodok area, and hopefully cut the enemy off at Overuch. But I'm almost certain that they've got this area defended. We're still going to try to cut through with some of our mechanized units, but a lot of this area is across a river and in swampland. It's not the best territory to be in. You know, it just really isn't. Not easy to move through here. Most of them have retreated across the river here. A few are still at Klitschev. So what I'll probably try to do is send one of these motorized units up north, cut them off here, and capture those guys. Anyway, guys, I want to thank everybody for stopping by and checking out this War on the East 2 stream. Again, this is like, number one, it's a YouTube exclusive, and number two, it's a live stream exclusive, so I will try to stream another episode soon. The feedback from you guys and the viewership from you guys on this is always great. So, you know, my apologies for not doing it sooner. Let's go ahead and make sure to save over the Agrippa save. This is the save that we had going for this game, but I absolutely want to continue in the future and see just how far we can get. I think we're off to an amazing start, but again, for anybody that hasn't seen it, when you go east, this is how far Stalingrad is, right? This is where we are now. We started basically east of Warsaw. So we've taken all this territory. To get to Stalingrad, we have to go all the way here. Like, I mean, it's just ridiculous, you know? We have to go all the way here to take Stalingrad. And then if we manage to take Stalingrad, we'd have to somehow find a way to take Moscow over here. It's just a hell of a push. There's a lot left to do. We still have to liberate a few of the Baltic states here, but we will get it done. Rosamakin says, but by the way, Hungarians were most disliked to occupation forces. Really? I thought it was the Latvians. They were too much brutal, even for Germans. Wow. The same is true with so many factions during the war. I mean, the Croatians with the Ustasi. A lot of really, really nasty factions, unfortunately. Well, thank you again, guys. I hope you had fun. I'll take this time. You know, I'm not working for anybody in this particular for this particular game or anything, so I'll take this time to advertise my Twitch channel, which if you like live streams, we do a bunch over there, so make sure to stop by there. And also, let me put a link here to the Discord. You'll find a lot of like-minded people there that play strategy games, etc. And who knows, you might just enjoy what you see here. Thank you so much, guys. Take care, and I hope you have an awesome day.